Good morning, Mark Wilson here. It is May 3rd, 2018, 11:07 a.m. What I have today is my 1987 Chrysler Fifth Avenue. I'm going to do a comprehensive overview. For those of you who have never either driven or ridden in or even seen up close a Chrysler Fifth Ave, I will attempt to simulate the experience to the best of my ability. We'll start with the engine. This is the venerable 318, one of the absolute, it's just a classic Mopar engine. They're pretty much indestructible. It's made it to the torque flight, I believe it's the A727 transmission, so pretty much die-hard, bulletproof reliability. These were ubiquitous back in the 80s as police cars and taxi cabs, mostly badged under the Dodge Diplomat and Plymouth Fury nameplates. Fifth Ave was a little more upscale, and attempted to compete with the likes of the Lincoln Town Car, Cadillac Brougham, etc. Just your basic rear-wheel drive V8 American sedan. We'll move over to the interior now. This is has the option of tufted Corinthian leather with shag pile carpeting, which was standard until 88 or 89, I believe. It does have the original owner's manual and information packet from the dealership. Unfortunately, it does not have the original crystal Chrysler key, which I'm a little bummed out about. I do have one brand new and blank that the local dealer over in Melrose gave me when I was a kid, and I'm not cutting that up. So it does have the original, one set of original keys though. I believe these came standard with one regular black trapezoidal key here and one crystal key. For 87. Don't know whatever happened to the crystal key. I would love it if anybody, used to own this car and still has it. I will gladly buy it off you. But that's about it. It has dual power seats. I believe it came, I don't even think the base model came standard with a power driver's seat, because I've seen them with just the cloth seats, and this was definitely one of the higher ends models. Back seat looks like it was never even used. Now, I am going to admit, I do have tacks holding up the headliner, because like most 80s vehicles, the headliner does sag. I did find one of these tacks on the seat itself, which really could have ruined the rear passenger's day, but I moved that into the cigarette ash holder, the ashtray. Now, this trunk is large enough to accommodate most of my victims, and being the fact that my victim supply is low right now, for reasons I am not at liberty to divulge, I use it for storing various parts. These hubcaps I acquired brand new in the box with an original MSRP of $105 each, at least according to the scratch on the box. I acquired them for $80 for the set. There was very limited competition because the gentleman that I purchased them from misspelled the word Chrysler on the ad, so it didn't show up in any search engines. Had the original radio, which I guess still works, but one of the buttons is off or something, so I'm going to investigate that at a later date. Fortunately, I do not the one that's in there now is from another Chrysler vehicle, so I don't have the one of those hideous aftermarket, detachable faceplate monstrosities. I do have an original Mopar radio in there. But yeah, I have all four of these, which I plan to install once I get the car painted. As of now, they're fine where they are, because knowing my luck, something would happen in the interim period. It has the original, Chrysler trademark sliding trunk lid lock. There we go. which these do fall off and break after a while, so I use it as minimally as possible. But take a look on this side. The door handles are in kind of a strange spot. This isn't where I would have put them had I been the lead designer, but I am not a designer, I'm not an engineer or anything of that nature, and I certainly wasn't back in 1987 because I was only 4 years old. So, yep, that's basically a good overview of the interior. Now you'll see this does have the third rear brake light, which I believe became standard, which I believe became actually mandatory in 1986, I want to say. Could be wrong. But has little Chrysler logos on the rear window surrounds. Have a whole bevy of different switches. Lock, the windows all work. It does have dual power seats. Believe the power seat, and actually, I'll show you the other side. Believe the base model actually came with a manual driver's seat as well, but most of the models came at least with a power driver's seat. This came with both power front seats. And you can tell this was designed for little old ladies because it has the, pull handles. These have a propensity to break, so I generally just use the armrest to shut it, but in failing that, sometimes the windows are open, I'll just stick my hand out and shut the, shut it with the, with the door itself. Now, I did lose one hubcap. I was up in the center cap. I have it, but it's in the back. Hit a ginormous pothole I couldn't avoid up in Nashua, New Hampshire on good old 101. While I was going up to pick up a pair of ceiling fans. And you can tell this is just a carbureted engine. They did have EFI, but back then, but it was never on like the bigger V8s. They had them on the small, like the K cars and whatnot. My mother had an '86 K car, a LeBaron, that had the EFI. So we'll shut this down now. Not as strong as I thought I was. There we go. Oh, pipe. Now I'm going to cold start it, which is sort of an ironic statement because at the moment it is about 89 degrees here in sunny Wakefield, Massachusetts. Now this is one of the coolest gauge clusters as far as I'm concerned, but alright, I'm going to shut up now so you guys can hear the car. It does take a little convincing to get it going, but it will be worth the wait if you'll bear with me for a moment. As it does have air conditioning and it does blow quite well. In fact, Chrysler pretty much invented air conditioning, so I was the first to put it in the cars, I do believe. Original, everything, the mirrors. There's the illuminated, and I don't believe the map lights, I don't believe it works. In fact, the cover came off. Now this does have the trapezoidal steering wheel, which came out for 1987. It was used in 87 and 88. 89, they moved up to an airbag, a 4-spoke steering wheel with an airbag. Prior to that, it had the 2 more abrupt spokes with little, I call them the Kit Kat bars for horn buttons, and a little crystal center insignia. There is a little bit of wear and tear on the steering wheel, which is, common for a vehicle. Now this does have almost 147,000 miles. It did flip once. It is documented, and you'd think it actually might have 47,000 by the appearance, but it does have 147 or almost 147. So yeah, I'm going to shut the doors up and we'll go for a ride. Now this is sort of my de facto cup holder and my de facto security system. This does predate cup holders, so I use that for my coffee and water when I leave work. But since I'm at home, I just have a water bottle. Now the doors are shut, the trunk is shut, my front door is also shut. So we shall proceed. Now it's a nice hearty clunk to these doors. You don't see that much anymore. You know, it feels like you're inside of the, you know, the vault at Fort Knox or something. So, you know, also these seatbelt covers tend to fall off. Not sure where the original is. In fact, both of them are gone. Alright. I'm going to rig up a mount on here so I can try to get a good eye. In fact, you know what? I'm going to wrap this around the... There we go. Beautiful. Okay, sorry about that, folks. Bear with me for a second. Oh. Okay. That ain't working.